And you know, I love the avenues though, because you know it's really cool. The avenues are the only place in Zimbabwe where you'll hear outside your window, and this is a true story. Yeah? You'll hear women talk. You know, that service from the pastor, it was just so great. It just touched me in a way that I just could not comprehend. It was just so good and so great. You know that Bible verse, Ecclesiastes 16 verse. And in this, like literally 2 seconds later, you'll hear a car screech up and be like, in my really short time. I'm just saying.
So I'm Carl Joshua Ncube, a 34-year-old graphic designer, come stand-up comedian, come TV chef, come social media entrepreneur, as you'd call it. I think that's what I am for now. Presidential aspirations can wait until later. It's a bit of a, it's a bit of a secret, now known, I guess. I'm a second-generation comedian. So my father was a stand-up comedian. He just didn't do it professionally. It was part-time. As a teacher, he just do it on the weekends to make a bit of extra money. Comedy was always there. I always used it everywhere I went, like in animation, which is why animation was such a nice area for me to play in, because I could write stories and communicate funny concepts to people without necessarily being the person in front of camera. I have a love for everything that happens behind the scenes, but the comedy, it was then just thrust upon me because a couple of friends had heard one joke too many and felt it needed to be told on a bigger stage. Yeah, we manage it with much. It's an exciting thing because our marriage and our business are all part and parcel of this. We want to start a family and want to be the kind of parents who can leave a legacy for our children. Now, we don't have kids, and the one thing that always keeps our focus is the fact that, listen, we're doing this not for us to get along per se in the workplace, but we're doing this because our kids are going to ask us later on, Dad, you performed at HICC. Thousands of people used to come to your shows. How come you've got nothing to show for it? And we've got that pressure on us right now to say, what have you left for your kids? You know, I've asked a lot of questions about my parents to say, you know, after all of this, after all this, is this what we've come down to? Is this, you know, and I would like to leave a better future for my kids. We have made a vow to each other that we will remain together. We can fight, and we're allowed to fight, and we're allowed to be like, and that allowed us to have the kind of confidence we have as a couple working together, trying to move this thing forward. Well, I mean, for me, I think the comedy industry was kind of, I don't want to sound arrogant, but lucky that I stepped into this particular place, because my experience in advertising and working with government for a long time, having to do galas and working with NAMA and having to think industry broad aspects. When I started with comedy, it was never to do with my career. It had to do with the bigger picture, which was the comedy industry, which was non-existent. So the first thing that we had to do was to first start off by adjusting people's tolerance to certain things. So what comedy then does is that it breaks apart some of the, like the stereotypes that you have and some of the injustices that you level against another group of people. And what I try and do is package it in such a way that you look at yourself and you think you're funny in the way that you perceive the world. So I'm just deconstructing your thoughts. So what we've done is, over the last couple of years, is to slowly ease Zimbabwe into understanding the fact that what I say is not my opinion. It's actually, in a lot of cases, your opinion. And I'm packaging it in such a ridiculous way just to show how ridiculous you're thinking as an audience, which is why people find it funny, because they can relate to the fact that they've thought like that or they've said something like that, and that's where I come from.
But what I'm saying is, like, everyone is going to be there watching Makandiwa, and he's going to be there delivering his sermon, and you'll be pumped up and amped up, and the water will be in the background, and you'll be talking about God, and this is what we need to do before we start walking on this water. I need to let you know that there's many things that we need to
I'm what a lot of people would call, like, I like to start things. I like the idea of bringing something, giving birth to something. I like the idea that you go into an area where someone says, no, this is not possible. And in my mind, I can see it happen. The comedy festival is pretty much something that came out of the need to bring a lot of the comics I've performed with in the continent. So I've been telling people, I perform in Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, in the US and that kind of thing. And I've performed with so many comics. But I know Zimbabweans will always say the same thing, bring Trevor Noah, bring Trevor Noah. And Trevor Noah is an amazing comic. But there are amazing comics also that are out there that Zimbabwe doesn't know of. And I'd like them to share, to come and we can share the stage together in Zimbabwe. They've invited me to their countries. I'm inviting them to mine. Once we get to a point, yes, when we can afford some of these bigger comics, like, your Chris Rocks or your Trevor Noahs and that kind of thing, perhaps they might look at our festival and say, you know what, that festival that happens in Harare is handled so professionally. This is the kind of festival I want to be a part of. I'm trying to appeal to different needs that people have. So if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when I look at my fan, I don't look at my fan from the point of view that they just want comedy. My fans have a lot of things. They're very intricate, very sophisticated people who worry about a lot of things. They care, they worry about the environment, they worry about where their salary is coming. They worry about their dreams. Are their dreams going to happen? My objective is, as a public personality, is to tell people that you can realize your dreams. And whether I'm doing that through my cooking podcast with the Kalk and Cook initiative, whether I'm doing that in the various interviews we're doing in the press and TV and telling people about it, or the social media talks that I'm doing around the country, speaking to kids in the universities, in the high schools and that kind of thing. That opportunity there is what I relish about the tour, is to talk to young people and say to them, do you know what, your textbooks are telling you that you can only be a middle-level manager. I'm a classic example that will tell you that if you look beyond your books, you can be something even bigger than what your teacher is telling you, or do you know what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, I'm trying to cater for all these different needs within the tour itself. I see, firstly, I'll look at myself. I see myself being very key to the building of the next generation of leadership. And what I'm saying is that a lot of young people have stopped wanting to strive to be something like the president, because the whole idea of being president is almost shrouded in mystery, as if it cannot be discussed. And I would like a scenario where we're now in this whole scenario where opinion, it's okay to have an opinion. I don't have to be classified as a particular party because I have an opinion about it. I would like a scenario where young people can decide that, listen, if we are we Pan-Africanist, nationalists, are we democratic, whatever perceptions that you have, we can have a different line of thinking as well. We can have some liberals that are in there, environmental or creative Democrats, as I like to call myself. And I hope that's what will be happening in the next 5 years, is that we'll be looking into how do we get a lot more ambassadors and leadership training for our young people, that it's not just about being waiting for the government to do something, but young people in their communities can actually head initiatives, clean up, they can do things that on a higher level, because that's what's happening in the rest of the world.
So, here's the story. So, Philip Chiangwa now has a PhD. Sorry, that was the joke. Sorry, it worked earlier. I thought it was going to be funny.